recording is on. Here we go. All right. Oh. Yeah. Welcome to Jowl Balls Live. It is November 19. This is like episode 6 already of season 2. And I've got some fun stuff for you tonight. I've been kind of working on my Lamenters. And I thought that I would do a nice little update for you on what I have going on here with this army so far. Not a whole lot, because it takes a long time to paint this stuff. And I want to just to show you what I got and talk about some fun upcoming things that have just been kind of put in the works this weekend. And I'll talk about the painting in a second. And how I paint my yellow. It's on my DVD. A guy just asked. I have to remember. Remind me to review the questions before I answer them. Thanks, guys. Somebody was commenting on one of my videos on YouTube. So let's get going with the show here. First, I want to talk about this exciting new event that's coming up. The Battle for Salvation. If you don't know about the Battle for Salvation, is one of the larger GTs on the East Coast. It happens every year in the fall during Columbus Day weekend, and a lot of my good friends run the GT, and it's a fun event. It's based on the Nova format for tournaments and for missions, and it's just a great tournament. And the new thing that's happening this weekend, I wrote a post on my blog about Mechanicon and about competitive armies in a gentleman's tournament where there's not really comp rules. Comp means you have restrictions to your list. And Mechanicon has always been kind of a gentleman's tournament. And this was the one I went to a few weeks ago. And where guys it was more of a hobbyist tournament than a strict hardcore competitive tournament. Excuse me. And the point is that this past year, more so than other years at Mechanicon, there was a lot of really beat-you-in-the-face armies. And, I was sad to see that, because it's always been my favorite tournament, because it's about painting and hobby, just as much as it is about winning games. So, anyway, that conversation that happened on my blog kind of got people rolling. Thanks for that link, Mist. The moderator just put a link up to Battle for Salvation in my chat. The conversation kind of on my blog, which was a really nice conversation with a lot of guys putting some great input in there, steered towards one of them, Neil Gilstrap, who's a pretty competitive player. I think he won Battle for Salvation a couple years ago. Top player, great guy too. But he suggested that somebody pick up and run with a best painted sort of invitational. The Nova Open runs an invitational where you have to win a grand tournament to get into the invitational in order to play in it. So it's nothing but the top players. And as opposed to that, Neil suggested that we run a best painted invitational. So in order to get into this invitational, you have to win a best painted. What a fantastic idea. This really gets me excited about playing 40K, because as I have evolved as a player, I've become less concerned with beating people's faces in and more concerned with putting a beautiful army on a table that I'm proud of. So I'm excited about this. And my friends at Battle for Salvation, I was just speaking to Ed Miller today, have decided to run with it. So it's going to happen. Right now he's figuring out the format, and we're going to make the official announcement soon. So you guys right now are hearing this for the first time, that this best painted tournament is going to happen. Checking up on the chat here. Yeah, there's a question. Do you answer questions regarding tactics and lists during the show? If this is your first time watching my show, it's mostly a question and answer show. I answer as many questions as I can, and so long as I keep my mind on track. Yeah, but we'll get to that in a few seconds, though. So the ultimate point here is that this best painted invitational is going to be a grand tournament open only to people who have won best painted. And so you should see nothing but the best armies in the country, in the world, really, competing against each other. It should be a beautiful eye candy tournament. And if it's going to happen, so I'll probably actually help out too and help paint some terrain and see if we can get some terrain, some beautiful terrain going for this tournament. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I just talked to Ed a little while ago. Catching up on the chat. Okay, so on to then my plans for this show. This is the army I'm painting now that I intend to win my spot at the Best Painted Invitational. That's not what it's going to be called. I think it's going to be called the Masterclass Invitational. It's all just in the works. I think that Ed Miller just decided to actually pull the trigger. Hey, someone else popped in to pull the trigger on this about an hour and a half ago. So it's breaking news that you guys just got for the first time. So if you guys are on the East Coast and you fancy yourself a painter, this is your tournament. You get to play your fluffy Best Painted Army against other fluffy Best Painted Armies and not get your face beat down. All right, so let's talk about my Lamenters. The reason why I'm excited, because this is an army that I feel could compete for Best Painted. Even though I've only got a few models done for the army, I think that they're coming along fantastic. Let's talk about the Rhino first. I was doing this on live last week for you. And let me get the actual footage here. That looks pretty good on the stream there. Keep your question for a little bit later. Let me finish my train of thought, then I'll answer questions. The question was, how do you compose a somewhat competitive Blood Angel jump infantry army that will be fun to play? The short answer is you don't. Blood Angels jump infantry are not competitive in today's tournament list. I'll get back to that in a bit. So this is the Lamenters Rhino I was working on last time. I was doing the layering and the edging with the yellow. Still some work to do on blending and evening that out, but I wanted to show you the hatches that I've finished. I got all the checks done on the two doors. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to pull the trigger for the checking here on the side panels. I don't know if I need to. I think I have plenty. I am going to add red to this model somewhere, probably maybe in here, because red is my accent color for this army. Just spin it around so you can see it. I'm fairly happy with how these checks came out. They are not easy to do by any means. For this thing, I got this nice little ruler. I found it on Amazon. It's good because it's got the measuring starts right at the very end, which, you know, in other rulers I've had, there's like a 1/4 inch of space before the measuring starts. So this, you know, allows you to really get precision when you're trying to measure out the space for the checks. So what I did was I measured out my the space. This is 2.5 centimeters wide, and I use a pencil to measure out my grid, and then I hand painted in all of my checks. So I mean, the checks alone, like people that have painted, as far as a best painted army is concerned, judges know the difficulty level that goes into painting something like this. The checks alone. A lot of people try them and they're not easy, and so well done checks on a tank like this or an army in general really make the army stand out. This is my sanguinary priest on a bike. You know, you can see his checks that are fairly well done, along with all the hand painted symbols. This is not a decal. So you know, this is one of the reasons why I think this army will compete for a best painted. Here's my, you've seen this already too. This is my standard bearer. with the hand painted standard. Thanks. Thanks. Somebody just commented on the biker. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of this model. It's my sanguinary priest on a bike with a power fist. And as I pointed out last week, because he's a lamenter with bad luck, I got a little open box on the back of the bike, and his sanguinary grail, the blood grail, is going to be bouncing out of his box, and as if he dropped it while he's going into combat. Typical bad luck for the lamenters. I have a little grail that I'm going to paint up and put on there. You know, so in order to go with him, I've also got a squad of 3 bikers, and like this one, for example, the front, I'm going to have it popping a wheelie, and the front wheel is going to fall off. The question, where do I find the time and inspiration to create complete armies to this standard? I don't know where I find the time. That's why you know, I started this army a year ago with my first show for mini wargaming, and I've been working on this army on and off for a year. I've decided just recently to really go into overtime in this army and get it done. But usually I will put in 80 to 100 hours on an army. Thank you. A lot of compliments coming in on the yellow. It's you know, it's just a lot of commitment and a lot of work. And the problem with this kind of an army, which is why I'm excited about the Best Painted GT, is that it takes a year to paint it. So the codex has changed so quickly that within a year, an army that might have been competitive when I started it is no longer competitive. So this army is going to get beat down on the tables. So it takes a lot of time to paint this. You know, and basically what I do is I have a little box I carry around with me. Here's my little box of my stuff, and you know, it's a small shoebox, and this is my little kit. And when I have time at school, if I have half an hour or something, when I have a break, I will pull it out and start painting a model. So at this point, that's what it's going to take for me to finish this army by February. So yeah, the color yellow on top of the checks and detail is a huge undertaking. So here we are. It's I'm pretty happy so far with this Rhino. I think that the I'm gonna add some battle damage because like I had to pry the door out. So like I chewed up the Rhino a bit here. So I'm gonna paint on some battle. Like I'm gonna add some like Tyranid scars raking through the tank to make it look all kind of wrecked a bit. You know, in this army, I'm gonna be having my Space Hulk Terminator set. Just these 5 guys. I've got the captain. Where's the dude with the sword? I got the captain here, although he's just a sergeant. And I've got the heavy flamer and 3 other guys. You know, you will never see these models actually in a grand tournament because they're just, you know, they're not competitive. But I'm playing them. You know, like these were the reason why I started my captain, which is right here, because they. You know, I'm going to put all this effort into painting this beautiful Space Hulk squad. I want to have a model to go along with them. Yeah, I'll pull the Storm Raven out in a second. So here's the captain that I've been working on. The model is a Dark Angels Honor Guard Command Squad Terminator. And I, of course, have converted him a little bit. I shaved off the Dark Angels insignia off the hood and off the power fists. And I switched up the leg insignia. It had a Dark Angel symbol. And I cut like a blood drop off a Death Company bit. And I put the blood drop on there for the Blood Angels. Yeah, this particular checkered shoulder pad took me the better part of 2 hours today to paint just the shoulder pad, just to give you a little bit of input on how much time it takes to get this. Because these Terminator shoulder pads are so wide and they're just curved. The curves really throw off the checking. And the difference here is that on the robe, it doesn't. I'm not so concerned about having the checks be uniform because it's fabric and it stretches. But on hard armor, it's more important to me to get the checks to be uniform. So I repainted each of these checks a couple of times. Basically what I did was I just drew some lines, starting with the middle. I drew a line down the middle, and then equidistant lines, vertical lines, spreading out. Then I drew horizontal lines across, and then just painted them in by hand. And then just painting that circle upon which I'll paint the heart took me a while just to get that circle circular. It's really hard to paint a perfect circle. They once said there's a fable that when Leonardo da Vinci went to art school, the master of the school told him to Leonardo was questioning why he had to be there, and the master asked him to draw a perfect circle on the board, and then he could teach the class. So Leonardo got up and drew a perfect circle on the board, and then taught the class. So drawing a perfect circle is a test of your ability. Not easy to do, and it's not quite perfect, but it's close enough for me. Not that I'm comparing myself to Leonardo da Vinci, but so here he is, my Blood Angels captain with lightning claws. I love the model, and I'm pretty pleased with him so far, especially the yellow on the leg. You can really see the shading, the transition from light to dark that I'm going for. Not really sure how well it's coming through on the camera. The focus was a lot better when I had the Rhino up there. Lamenters were always Blood Angel successors? No, someone just said that they used to be just Space Marines. So anyway, there's my my captain. I kind of like the robe. It's like on one part it's got checks, on the other part I painted it pure red along with the sash here. I'm also going to put on one of these little things, a little shield thingy. It's going to go right there. And I'm going to probably paint this yellow. I don't know what color I'm going to paint that. It's going to come down to choice after the model's done. Yeah, I name each of my dudes. Everyone that has a little name plaque, I give them a different name. And I paint the name on there. Someone asked if I name my guys. So, this is the update I have for you so far on the models I've painted. In a week, I've gotten half a Rhino done and half of a Captain. But I have finalized my list for this for the TempleCon next February, and it's not going to be very competitive, but it's going to be fun to play and it's going to be pretty. Let's talk about this. Someone wanted to see the Storm Raven. Thanks, Mini Girl. So the Storm Raven here, I airbrushed it as opposed to this. I airbrushed this too, but not as heavily as this. You know, I wanted to get the nice shading here. I added some brown in with the yellow. It's kind of a mess, but you know, and then I hand brushed the checks, and that's really all the progress. I actually painted the pilot in there along with the checkered shoulder pad. Can you see the pilot? Kind of hard to see inside the cockpit, but you know, the pilot is painted to the high standard, along with the checkered shoulder pad, and all the insides of the cockpit are also painted using my non-metallic silver style that I do. I actually use my little micron pen to do the lining, and now, you know, so it looks a little bit too lined, so I need to go in and kind of fix that with some more painting. What's going to be in this? Well, the Terminators are going to be in there. So these guys are going to be riding inside. And also a Dreadnought, which is part of the army, and a Furioso Dreadnought. I haven't decided what I'm going to use for my Dreadnought. I have a whole bunch. I'm not really happy with any of the models, though. I think I want to go with a Forge World one, so I'm going to try and get one. See, I'll probably go with I'll probably do a conversion. I'm thinking that because nowadays painting rubrics are requiring converted models in order to get top score. I don't like the Contemptor models. I'm going to go with the good old. I'll probably go with the Chaplain Dreadnought. I love that model. But they're requiring converted models, and I'm not a converter. I don't usually like. This is as much as I go for a conversion. Well, actually, this guy's a converted model. Because there is no model, there is no biker priest. But I don't convert, and especially I don't convert just for the sake of converting, which a lot of guys do, and that hurts me in the painting, in painting scoring. So I've decided that what I'm probably going to do is do a Dreadnought. As part of my display board, I'm probably going to make a Dreadnought being repaired. You've seen it a bunch of times where they have like. Inside, like they'll open up the Dreadnought and they'll put the corpse on the inside, because inside a Dreadnought is a sarcophagus being manned by a mostly dead Marine. And Minigirl says that she converts to save money. I'm almost there. Got some bad news last week. My wife's getting laid off, so there goes my gaming fund. I'm gonna have to spend most of my extra money on stuff that. I wasn't previously spending it on, but so yeah, I'm gonna be feeling the pinch in my gaming budget. Yeah, it's part of life, man. Everyone's feeling the crunch, and no one is exempt from the layoff. Yeah, but she'll find a new job. She's highly skilled, and she'll bounce back from that. Luckily, she's not getting laid off till the end of December, so she's got a couple of months before it starts to hurt. Yeah, it's no good. In a way, I almost wish I would get laid off. I kind of want a year off, but I'm just joking. By the way, that's a joke. Believe me, I get plenty of time off, but I'm having a rough year. Oh no! See, I count my blessings when I hear like this one guy's got a single income family of 5. That's tough. That dude's got it tough, and here I am playing with my expensive toys. So I count my blessings. Especially because she is like she'll get a job soon because she's got the skills. So anyway, back to the army. The point is that I'm gonna feel the pain. Soon, so I can't really do a whole. I have to work with what I have in my pile, which is pretty substantial. I got to say, I've got a lot of stuff. I've been selling stuff off, a lot of stuff, and I've still got a lot of stuff left. So thankfully, I've stockpiled so much Space Marine stuff that I can probably build 2 more armies out of my bunch of junk. I've got like 2 squads of Sternguard veterans, which are just waiting around, and. I've got old metal Space Marine combat scouts, which I'm going to play in my Lamenter's army. Who's playing Space Marine combat scouts nowadays? Nobody. I'm going to play them. Why? Because I have 6 different metal models, and they're all pretty cool looking. So they're all going to be in my army. Yeah, I wanted to do. I was going to add some Forge World to this army, but that's not going to happen. I wanted to add one of those flyers, some flying thing, and because it has lots of guns, it looks cool. But that's just not possible. That's what I had to show you here. So I've shown you my Death Company, right? Here, let me get back to the models. This is better than talking about me. My White Death Company. I liked the model so much that I went with it on the fist. I don't normally play power fist. This guy's just he's like a 60-point model just waiting to explode. But yeah, this was the model I painted up for my How to Paint series on yellow or black and white. Pretty happy with the model in general, so I'm going to play him just because. And I'm going to do all my Death Company up to this standard. Here's another one. Yeah, painting white is hard. No, it's not easy. Well, making it look good is hard. And, just like the biggest reason why I'm putting them in there is just to display the white with the yellow, two of the hardest colors to paint. I kind of want to put a Death Company Dreadnought in the list as well, but the list being only 1850, I'm out of points. Yeah, the Fire Raptor. Yeah, it's like 96 pounds, which is like $140 or something like that. Someday, when I win the lottery, I'll buy everybody one. I'll do a surprise show when I win the lottery, and everyone that comes in gets a Fire Raptor. So what else do I have? I've only got 4 Death Company because I had to shave off a few points. The list itself is very, very soft. I've got a 10-man tactical squad in the Rhino. I've got a 3-man bike squad with a priest attached on a bike. I've got a librarian and the Terminators and a Terminator captain, the Storm Raven, some scouts. I've got a Vanguard vet squad, and a 5-man assault squad. Here's my sergeant from the 5-man assault squad. Here's 2 of the models from the assault squad that are done. Oh, someone saw my Emperor's Champion over here, huh? You like that, right? Someone's got sharp eyes seeing that Emperor's Champ. This is my favorite model in all of 40K, by the way. And I always put one of these in my army. And this guy is a Vanguard veteran with a Combi Melta. Bye, mini girl. Yeah, this is, painters have egos, and I can say that this army is going to be fantastic. Every model I've finished for the army so far looks great, and as an artist and art teacher, and a competitive painter, I know what wins best painted, and I know that this army will be amongst the best painted armies at any tournament I go to. So sorry for the bragging, but it's a lot of work trying to get this army done like this. It is not an easy thing to do. But yeah, it will be a source of pride for me to bring this army and pull it out and play it at tournaments. Just the 5 or 6 models I have painted so far, I'm very proud of them. Looking at these guys alone, these are all like the leaders of the squads. Usually when I paint, I'll paint up a squad leader for each of the units first. After I finish my captain, here's the squad leader for the Vanguard vets. I've showed you him. I'm gonna paint up my scout commander, which is this guy with this little chain sword he's got. Next, I don't know quite how I'm gonna paint the scouts. I was painting some before and I didn't like how they were coming out, so I need to rethink. What would your advice to a painter who one day aims at winning a best painted? believe it or not, winning best painted is mathematical in a way. You can gain best painted. Basically, you have to think about composition of your army. You need to think about. Oh no! You need to think about. The overall look. Like, I've got a yellow army, but I'm adding the white to kind of accent the yellow. But not only am I painting yellow, I'm adding red to each of the yellow models to be another accent. So you got to think color theory and color balance. You need accent colors to make an army look good. It might not be overtly obvious up front, but it's something that behind the scenes people subconsciously notice. And you got to pick models that are not seen every day. A lot of my stuff, is unique, and that kind of helps it stand out. I painted my Tau army. The army looked great, but it was not unique, so I did not win a best painted army with that army, even though it was beautiful. So I'm painting my Space Hulk Terminators. You never see these guys on the table, and they're going to be there in all their glory. So composition, unique models, and a good display board, and balance. A well balanced army are all very important. And a finished army, believe it or not, one of the biggest, easiest ways to win a best painted is just finishing your army. Because when you play at a small, especially small tournaments, a lot of these guys show up and they don't have a finished army. So already you're in the top 5 if you just show up with a nice display board with a finished army. So as far as painting well, that is actually a science too, and that's what my DVDs are all about. Not to give myself a plug here, but if you look at my DVDs, they teach you the basics on how to paint well without being a good painter. So what I've done is I broke down just the basic skills that you need, kind of almost cheating in a way, cheating on your painting in order to get really nice models fairly fast, and basically the most efficient way to get a good looking model. So check that out. Check out those DVDs. If you want, I'll do a 50% off for you guys. Everyone watching the show right now. If you want those DVDs, 50% off. $10 a piece. So there's 6 of them. I've got one on yellow and red and one on black and white. So best painted is I've kind of broken down how to, I've won a lot, and there's just a few basic things. You should always have like a couple of centerpiece models in your army. In this case, it's my Storm Raven and my Rhino, and this priest on the bike and the captain. These 4 models are going to be the basic, the highlighted models of this army. So they're going to be the 4 things people look at first. Judges love to see hand-painted banners. So always, if you can, throw some kind of hand painting in there. They don't like to see too much hand painting, though. Some guys overdo it on the hand painting, and especially if they're not really good at it, it looks kind of tacky. Does stripping models first have any impact on painting afterwards? I personally don't strip models. It's just not worth the time. I can never get all the stuff off, especially plastic. I don't bother. I just paint over it. So yeah, those are the basics. Good basic highlighting is always better than trying to do a lot of blending. If you want a good high impact army, good highlighting is I would suggest that over something where you're trying to do some messy blending. So bold colors with strong highlights usually catch the attention and will get you a best painted win. That makes me happy, man. A guy just commented that every time when he's not in the mood to paint, he watches my show and then he wants to paint. That's why I'm here. Thank you for that. That makes me happy. I love being inspiration. Hey, you're popping in right at the end of the show, Cap. So, I can go on and on and on about a best painted. I've written about it several times on my blog, and every once in a while I'll do an article about how to win a best painted. It always pisses people off because they accuse me of being conceited and stuff. But for the love of God, guys, it's sharing knowledge that I have, and there are basic steps that you can take to give you a better chance at winning a best painted. So why can't I share that stuff with people? Airbrushing, having been a paint judge, airbrushing is not always the way to go. It does kind of turn off judges, mostly because usually guys that airbrush will base coat their airbrushing but then not do anything more. And this model was airbrushed as a base coat, but then I hand painted the bejesus out of it with the edging and stuff. So if you're going to be an airbrusher, you should definitely learn some skills too with a brush, because judges will look at it and say, "Oh, that's a pretty model," but it's airbrushed, and then take that for what it's worth. Yeah, you're just popping in here. You missed all the discussion about the checkerboarding and stuff. So that's gonna kind of be it for the night, guys. I gotta go down and it's always tough to get my show in a weeknight because the wife gets home. She goes to the gym, then she gets home, and it's hard for me to to get dinner going and take care of the kid too. Oh, how do you make a competitive Blood Angels army? The question. Sorry, you don't. I hate to say it, but if you're looking to play in a competitive, and when I say competitive, I mean you're going to a GT with a chance to win, you're not going to win with Blood Angels. Not now. Not in 6th edition. They just can't compete. Not a pure Blood Angels list. They don't have the firepower. 6th edition is about lots and lots and lots of middle strength shots, strength 5 to strength 7. And that's what the metagame's all about. So Blood Angels can't do that. They don't have the shots. They're an assault army. And so then their lack of firepower attached to the fact that they are an assault army and their strength is an assault, they can't compete. Not against like a Tau gun line that you can just line up the Kroot, so the Blood Angels have to assault the Kroot and then they get mowed down each turn. Doesn't work. So Vindicators, fast Vindicators for Blood Angels, they're good, but they never last more than a turn. You still got to get them close, and if you're within 24 inches of anything nowadays, you're dead. You can't live. You got to be. The rule of thumb, in my opinion, is you have to be outside 36 if you want to compete in shooting. You can't win by trying to stand off and shoot within 30 inches, especially against Tau. The smart missiles and the missiles, they come around. They got maneuverability. They can jump to the right and get side shots at you with smart missiles and just glance you to death on Vindicators. So if I was going to build a competitive Blood Angels army, I was actually talking to my buddy Fritz about it today. I'm thinking that dreadnoughts and drop pods are the way to go. Drop pods kind of eliminate the interceptor that they have nowadays. It's the drop pods that get the interceptor, not the guys inside. So you're going to get out and you avoid the interceptor, and then you lay down those flamers. So if I was really going to go for a competitive list, I would play Furioso Dreadnoughts, probably 2 or 3 of them, with actually probably 5 Dreadnoughts, Death Company and Furiosos, with the frag grenade launcher and the heavy flamer. And they're going to get out and just lay down the flame on all those Tau lists and on the Eldar biker list too. The biker lists are hard to kill. You're not going to take them out with a list. But I think a good solid Yeah. People are commenting that drop pod armies tend to do good in 6 because the meta of the game has shifted that way. People aren't taking the defenses to go against drop pod armies. So, basically when you drop a drop pod army down for Blood Angels, you're going to get most of your stuff down by turn 2, and you're going to lose 2/3 of your army by the end of turn 2. But that last third you have left is going to get in. And so you assault with your dreadnoughts first. They soak up the Overwatch, and then you get in there with your infantry and see what happens. I think that could really give people fits in 6th edition, especially knowing the current competitive meta. So, battle wagons. You don't see too many battle wagons nowadays. Not a competitive list. You have to know your competition, and basically what you have to prep for, at least on the East Coast in GTS, is Eldar biker warlocks, broadsides, riptides, Eldar or Tau Skyray missile defense tanks, and all those things are nasty. And there's a lot of them. Tau or Eldar Wraith Knights. So you got to figure out how to kill those things. So how to do that? Drop pod Vanguard vets or Sternguard vets with combi plasmas, and just unload on those Wraith Knights when you land. Don't bother assaulting them with dreadnoughts; they'll just kill them. But hit them with lots of plasma. And so lots of plasma in pods, lots of dreadnoughts. Oh, is that what happens? Some guy is saying that Interceptor can choose to shoot the guys that get out of the pod. That's kind of silly in my opinion. But hey, whatever. You're not seeing like Interceptor really hurts against your flyers, but against a squad coming out, the big templates hurt from the Riptides, but you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose half your guys anyway. So most Tau players will only have Interceptor on 1 or 2 Riptides, so you'll probably lose a squad. You're gonna lose them anyway. Either the Riptide's gonna blast them in the shooting phase or on your landing. So, but you have to plan for that. You have to plan on losing 2/3 of your army. The point is that you still need a third that's gonna kick butt when they get their turn. Yeah, so maybe wither them down before your pods come down or something. Who knows? So there it is. If that's my current thought, that was what I was discussing today with Fritz. If I'm gonna try and play a competitive Blood Angels list, lots of pods, 40 years old infantry with 5 dreadnoughts coming out of drop pods. Maybe ally in a Thunderfire cannon to reach out and touch those Riptides. And that someone said it'll be fun to play, and that's the key right there. An army that would be fun to play. God forbid, a fun army. It'll be a challenge. I played my drop pod list at a tournament, and it was one of the funnest tournaments I've played. It was a great time. Orcs are competitive. Orcs did not take a hit in 6th edition at all. A guy commented about orcs. If you get that many orcs up on the Tau, even if you lose half your orcs, you still got 80 orcs assaulting. Orcs can do all right in 6th edition. Every squad's got a claw to take down the Riptides. So there it is. Drop pod dreadnoughts. That's my answer for how to build a competitive Blood Angels list. And I'm working on one myself. I have to get that list pulled out of the out of the bag and kind of get it finished. I'm going to spray them all yellow and do it up Lamenter style just to have it. And I got to get the infantry ready for that. So maybe I'll get to play that at a tournament sometime soon for you guys. And I'll get some video for you. So that's going to wrap it up for tonight. 7:45. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Just check out my blog. Mitch, if you could link my blog up in there and chat. I'm going to be announcing very soon that best painted grand tournament coming up. And thanks, guys. And if you guys are on the East Coast and you fancy yourself a painter, you should get yourself into that tournament. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. It's going to actually, it's almost a year away, but I'm already prepping for it. So I'm all over that. So all right, signing off. Have a good one. Thanks for coming in.